Hello, welcome back to the Kayla Ambrose Show. I'm here, your travel guide to the other side, talking about all things metaphysical and spiritual and your journey. Even more today with the journey bracelets that we've been discussing here for now on the podcast. You notice we've taken a little bit of a journey from the other things I was talking about and talking about one of my latest endeavors, which are journey bracelets. And if you want to know more right now, what is she talking about? Go to lavishgoods.com. Wherever you found this podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, maybe even on exploreyourspirit.com. You can also find it on lavishgoods.com. And this is the website I'll be talking about. This has all the journey bracelets on it. So you can check it out while we're talking. You can read about them and you can see all the pictures of the bracelets. So, journey bracelets are beautiful, gorgeous, unique design bracelets by me and my bestie, Nikki Case, who's here today. Nikki,
Hello.
we work together creating all these. Um, we're both lovers of metaphysical, lovers of crystals, gemstones. We work together in all those arenas. Plus, Nikki is a scientist. So she knows all the things about the crystals and the stones. So we know what they can do mind, body, spirit, in the earth, on the earth, above the earth, all the things. So we're here to chat with you each week and talk about these lovely bracelets and crystals. If you have any questions you ever want us to answer, go to lavishgoods.com, click on the contact form, and type in your question. And if it's a question about the bracelets and these things, we'll answer it here in one of the podcasts. We'd love getting your input, hearing what you think about the bracelets, and what you'd like to talk about. Uh, who knows what we might do? There will be podcasts here. Maybe we'll have people on the podcast one day with us to talk about their journey bracelets. That might be fun,
That would be fun. I would love to do that.
right? Who knows what fun things we might get up to here one day. Today, we're talking about having a spring fling.
Mm.
Are you ready to have a spring fling, Nikki?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's do it. Bring it.
Isn't it fun? So, spring fling can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but we mean it in letting your heart have some fun in whatever way that works for you. So, my spring fling a lot is throwing all my old clothes I don't like anymore out of my closet
You are literally flinging. I love it.
and going, oh, I'm over this, it's done, doesn't work. And going and get beautiful new pieces of jewelry and clothes and purses. Of course, gotta have my purses
Hmm.
and all the things. So spring fling for me is that, but everyone's different. But the design, the hope, the dream with this particular bracelet, and I mentioned before, if you're new, this is your very first podcast, go to lavishgoods.com, read about the journey, what it means, how these bracelets are put together in stacks, sold together, usually at least 5 bracelets in a stack, and they work with each other in tandem, uh, building the energy and creating a sacred formula is going to help you take a journey. We describe stories and what kind of journey you'll take if you pick a certain bracelet and what it'll do for you. So go read all about that. But in these journey bracelets, they're created this way and you wear them in a certain order. So check that out. But yeah, so we've got these orders of bracelets. In Spring Fling, we were really thinking about spring and the beautiful colors, all the pastels. Now, in a previous podcast, we talked about rejuvenation and what I call earthy pastels. They're a little more muted. They got a little bit of brown in them. Um, so they're earthy, they're more boho. This is the opposite. This is the purest of gemstones you can find. Probably the most expensive stones that we've bought all together to put in one bracelet. Now we buy some stones that are pricey, but we mix them in with other stones in different bracelets. But this one, these are like the highest caliber rated of each kind. Um, there's canary yellow jade. There's um we're gonna list them all in a minute. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole yet, but just know they are really, really high caliber. And you see that in the color. It's amazing. We've discovered some things like that. We've learned in our process, like the difference even in rose quartz, how really deep pink rose quartz looks, right? When it comes from the right place, where it's mined, it's so different than the really light color. And so we've learned so much and we keep applying that into our bracelets and their design. And so that's the hard work we did behind the scenes. You don't have to worry about that. Just know you got the best. But what you need to do is put this bracelet on and fling about, have some fun, uh, and really enjoy those colors. So, Nikki, tell us about your thoughts with the stones.
Well, so now I'm imagining, we talked about Dragon Dance near the beginning of this calendar year because it's the year of the dragon, of course. And we talked about like doing a dragon dance. And so now I'm trying to imagine what a spring fling would look like a little spring fling, which I'm sure would be quite entertaining to see. Yeah, you nailed it exactly. Like these stones, we've used several of these stones, types of stones in other bracelets. Like there's some rose quartz in here, there's Amazonite, there's rhodonite. Like we've used these particular stones in this specific journey are just super 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 high quality. These are like the upper echelon of quality. And I mean, we're very discerning in the stones that we pick. Like we only use high quality stones. These are just at a whole other level. And as you said, you really see that in the color in these different stones. And I also love that you spoke about, spring fling. I know for some people, the idea of a spring fling is like, oh, I'm gonna have a little fling, like a little romantic fling, which that certainly could be the case. For me, the idea of spring fling is, spring is rebirth and renewal. So it's, get like you said, like you're flinging out the old things that you don't want in your closet anymore. I love the idea of like this sort of renewal, rebirth, where I want to try something new, like some new adventure or something like that. That's my idea of the fling. And so whatever that fling is for you, for the wearer, it having to do with renewal and rebirth and all the things associated with spring, this journey bracelet is going to support you on that. And then the fact that these stones are just such an amazing quality, it's going to just kind of put a big exclamation point at the end of your journey.
That's well said. It's so interesting to me that, when we were putting this bracelet together, that we really wanted to inspire a lot of, I call it flinging about, but what I mean by that is being like joyful and springing forward and feeling that pep in your step, feeling, that you could do anything and falling in love with the world again, falling in love with your life again, having a fling with yourself, right? Like, oh
Mm.
my gosh, I'm so beautiful and I'm so happy and I'm living in this wonderful time and space and world and just opening your heart again and learning to love everything and everyone again. And I knew when we looked at the stones, we were looking at those colors because we wanted to really cover, every spring pastel color. And I knew canary yellow jade was really a lucky, jade is, but really lucky and brings a lot of abundance. But the thing that surprised me was the blue Amazonite, which I haven't worked with as much. And to find out that that stone was always considered to be really lucky. It was even worn on shields for tribes for good luck and battles and things. But Um, it's a stone that gamblers used to wear to dig for luck. And I didn't know that until we really delved deep into Amazonite there to learn about it. So the funny side effect, this bracelet for me is all just like, yeah, girl power, fling, have fun, love yourself, you know. But it's really lucky. Like, I don't know, maybe you buy a lottery ticket when you wear it. I don't know. But like it isn't that symbolically on a bigger level. Let me go esoteric here. But if you let go of all your cares and worries and you're just living in love and you're happy and joyful and just enjoying life, grateful for everything, it does seem like you get luckier. It does seem like all that good energy follows you. So it's like a double serving of that in this bracelet. That if you could open your heart and be playful and fun and silly and laugh and all that, the good fortune follows that. And why wouldn't good fortune follow that? I'd want to follow that, right? Someone that's happy and light and full of all that good energy. So I wonder if there's something deeper there with prosperity and abundance and how it follows that happy light energy.
Yeah, and when you're talking about this too, like as you're saying this, it actually kind of transported me back to a time that, gosh, it was, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. And I remember it was, you know, I had gone through, a relatively difficult time in my life not long prior to that, going through a breakup and, living on my own for the first time in a very, 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 very long time. And really going through the process of learning to love myself, probably for the first time in my life, just all of these big, big, big things. And I remember one day very clearly, you and I were talking, like all of these things just were clicking into place for me. It was like boom, 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 boom. And it was like, oh my goodness, like I cannot even believe this. And what I remember you saying is, you're in the flow. You just got into the flow. And that's kind of what I was thinking with this bracelet, is that it's and that's kind of part of spring, of where we've been in this, for lack of a better way to put it, we've been in this dark place, right? We've been in winter, whether it's literal or metaphorical. And spring is now this time to come forth with this rebirth and this renewal. And part of that, of feeling that joy and just this complete trust in the universe that things will be as they should be, that you're in that flow. And when you're in that flow, like it just feels, it's not even like you have to work to feel good and to feel happy and to feel gratitude. It's just there. It's like you can't help it. And I think you're absolutely right that I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg, which is coming first, but I feel like that luck, if that's what we want to call it, it absolutely follows that energy or goes with hand in hand with that energy.
I love that you shared that story. And, as I work with so many students where I'm trying to get them to live their best life, right? Personal development, spiritual development, helping them take that journey and to be all they can be. And a lot of times I get these, well, you don't understand my story, or it's too hard right now. I can't focus and do this because I have all these problems or responsibilities, right? And I try to explain that that's absolutely when you need to do them, when you need to carve out, even if it's 5 minutes a day, where you just think, about yourself for a minute and you do something to brighten your day. And it can be the smallest of things, but find the tiniest of things. Don't let that hope and inspiration die out. Don't let your spark get too dim. When everything's piling on you like that, that's when you gotta work the hardest. You've got to dig deep and find that flame and find a way to keep it alive and keep it burning. And, I don't want to say a bracelet can fix everything, but having a visual reminder on you can help. And that's what we thought about with these stones were, first of all, stones have energy and they're going to help with that. But even when you buy a crystal and you put it in your room, when you're feeling too busy, you don't work with it like you should. You don't touch it as much as you should. Some people don't even know what to do with big crystals they buy, how to really work them. But when you put it on your arm, on your wrist, it's touching the pulse point there where your heartbeat's going through. And the wrist right there is such a great place to feel it. It's right there next to your palm chakra, connecting there with the chakras and the aura. Um, it gets a little warm. Your skin might get a little sweaty. All of that interacts with the bracelet. All of that is connected with the bracelet, with the body. And so the body is feeling that touch of the bracelet as your arm moves and the bracelet moves up and down and it makes little jingles and the sounds and that vibration goes into your aura. All of it is a physical representation of all of that energy reminding you. And then it goes into your aura and it helps stimulate that energy when you need it the most, when you are at your toughest time or your broken heart or overwhelmed by responsibility and people asking everything of you everywhere. And when you can keep that connection, and then when you have a little bit more time and you can work to rekindle that flame, then you step back into the flow like Nikki's talking about. And I call it that flow of energy, always available to us. It's a higher energy. And when we can open into it, everything unfolds and we're just riding it, we're surfing it, and the whole universe rides with us. And these amazing things happen. And it's wonderful when you get there, you never forget it. You always want to go back. And if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll go back time and time again. And so the bracelet's just one way to get there. One way as a reminder to take you there and through the light heartedness and laughter of spring and flinging about. It's a gateway that opens the heart chakra and brings you, right into that flow.
Yeah, that was you can't see me, but I'm sitting here like emphatically nodding my head, like yes, and like everything you just said is I is just beautiful. And if I just want to re-emphasize, I guess I'll say like one of the things that you said that is so important for me and just like my personality type, and if there's anyone else out there who might be a little bit like me, where it's so like I literally have crystals around me all the time. They're everywhere in my home. And I have these days where you just get bogged down in whatever you're doing and getting, I've got my to-do list and I've got to get this stuff done. And even though they're all around me, I'm not engaged and with them, I'm so focused on work or whatever is taking my attention. And when I've got that, whatever journey I happen to be wearing that day, it is not only that visual reminder, but that sound. I know you kind of giggle at me sometimes, or I'm just like, I shake it sometimes because that sound does something for me of just hearing those beads. And it is that reminder to come back. And it's kind of like, another way for me to ground myself a little bit like, oh yeah, I have to remember, whatever this is, this journey that I'm looking at. Like I remember to come back to myself. I need to remember to to make time for me and self-love or whatever that particular thing happens to be. But that visual and physical reminder, I think, is so important for some of us because we do get very easily distracted in our lives.
Absolutely. And it's been that way since ancient times. You have mala beads, you have rosaries. There's always been something about beads being tied together. It's fascinating.
Mhm.
Also, I want to say the cuff on this is more, now, this is really more of a bracelet. We call it a cuff because whatever the centerpiece is. And a lot of times it's a harder piece of metal. This one's more beads. But they're druzy beads and they're champagne. And so even to me, the champagne color again is celebrating with the fizz and the champagne and uh, just it's just such a girl bracelet.
Mhm. It really is. And one of the things too that I love about, like, just to be clear so people know, like that cuff, it's got that druzy centerpiece, which we will use sometimes, which this one is a champagne. A lot of the ones that we use are white. This one's a champagne, which is just a really beautiful color. And the beads that make up the bracelet part itself, those are also druzy. So you'll see when, if you get this journey, that individual beads themselves have these little like caves and crevasses that have the druzy in them, like that little bit of sparkle in them. It's really beautiful. And it's just, they're so unique. I love them so much.
Yeah, they really are. I'm trying to remember the name of my favorite champagne, and I can't think of it right now.
The Vouv, the Vouv.
Vouv, yes.
Yes.
Vouv, I was like, it's in a yellow box. I'm trying to look at the name.
Yep.
Um,
I know which one you mean. Yeah.
that's my favorite champagne. And again, I always go by what I like, right? I trust my feelings. I trust my intuition. I'm like, I know this is the right thing for me. And I just knew like one day I was like, that is my champagne. I got it. And then I later went to read the story because I'm like that. Obviously, I like to know history of everything. And Viv's made by a widow. She lost her husband, and she continued on and became like one of the first women. Um, I don't know what they call that. What do you call someone that does? Is it a viner? What do you call someone that
Oh,
works at
a
the vineyard?
vintner.
Is it
Yeah.
a vintner? Okay.
Vintner.
Yeah, and it's like, um, and she was, and I mean, obviously, she did well. Still here. The champagne's still going strong. But what an amazing story. She persevered against everything and being a woman in that business back then. And so now it just made me proud to drink her champagne, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, like, and the funny thing was, um, I'm a widow. And when I was first starting over and after everything, I had someone bring me that didn't know me at all, but brought me champagne to celebrate an accomplishment I'd just done. And I was like, oh my gosh, my favorite champagne. Thank you. And it was that bottle that made me decide to go look at the history. And so there I was, a recent widow, reading about this widow that persevered and, got back up from her grief and dusted herself off and went and made champagne for a living for all those people to toast, to celebrate, to, all the magical things we do in life with champagne. And it just really inspired me, her story, and, helped me during my grief like that to go, I can still do things that are inspirational and aspirational, even while in grief and, missing my husband. And like she did, it was such a great story. And I think about that every time we use champagne beads in one of our bracelets. I'm like, oh, look, there's celebrations right there. And it just makes me
Yeah.
happy.
I love that. That's a beautiful story.
I really can wander a lot through our bracelets.
Well, there's
They're
so much to,
also,
yeah.
right? They're just so meaningful. And there's so many stories in every one of the stones. Like, even the parts of the world that they come from. Like, remember we found the unicorn beads and that they only were found in the 21st century and they
Hmm.
have all the stuff we love. And they were found, what, in Madagascar? And I love the stories. And I don't know, that canary yellow jade. Yellow is not um a color I wear the most for sure. But there's something so ancient and magical and divine and respectful about that yellow jade. Like,
Hmm.
I just want to like show up and pay respect to it. It carries, I don't know, the energy. And that's the one that's supposed to be a super lucky stone as
Hmm.
well. But I don't know. Like, I want to put that on an altar or something. It's really powerful to me, something about it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's definitely, and I think this in particular, like this quality of stone, it speaks to me as well in that way. A lot going on
Yeah.
there.
The rhodonite, too, the color of the rhodonite's so pure,
Mm, I
you know?
know. I love this road night. It makes it hard sometimes to work with other.
I
ones.
know, I know.
It's like, I
They
want
have
more of
Tanzanite
this.
too.
I
All of
know.
them. They are the. This is the most pure crystal bracelet we'll probably ever do
Yeah,
because
I think so.
it's we didn't change the price. It's priced the same as everybody else, so we're not making as much money on it.
No,
But we
no,
had
this
to
one
do it.
we did. We really did. And I feel good about it. And I know you do too. Like we, if it didn't feel right to us, we wouldn't do it. But we feel good about what we created here and keeping the price point where it's at. And
We just
yeah,
won't
it's
let our accountant know about this one
exactly. We're not gonna let that person know. Hmm.
because this was our what if we use the most purest of everything? And what would that do to a person to have
Mhm.
all of that, like the best of the best? So, I don't know if you're a spring fling wearer and you have a bracelet, we would love to hear if it brought you luck and good fortune and abundance and flinginess and all the things.
Flinginess. There's a new word. That's my word for the day. Flinginess.
Yeah, I think I said tandem in this podcast too. So we were on a tangent last time, and I don't know what is a tandem another
Yeah, so
noun.
well, working in tandem, like they're working together. Like a tandem bike is two people on a bicycle working together. So when the stones are working in tandem with each other, they're working together. They're like sort of enhancing each other's abilities.
Okay, so just putting it out there for everyone listening. Not only have you learned about crystals and gemstones and luck and the flow and all the things, but the last two podcasts, you've learned science and math right here. Who would have thought?
Right here with these girls.
I mean, we've done history, we've done math, science.
We do it all
Um,
here. I mean, let's just face it.
yeah,
This is amazing. This is a rare opportunity for people to just learn so much about everything.
I agree. Why go to school? You just listen to these podcasts.
She says to the former school teacher.
What else do you need to know?
I can't argue with that.
Did we miss one? What else is important besides math, science, history? Oh, English.
Yeah,
Okay.
and animals.
Animals. That's right. That should definitely be an elective in schools. Just
Yeah,
animals.
some schools they have like an animal science elective. I've taught in a school that
No,
had
that's not
that.
the elective. No.
You just mean like you're not talking like husbandry. You're talking like snuggle cat
Oh, I
snuggling
thought
101.
yeah. I thought you meant in science when they made me do that terrible thing to a
Oh,
frog.
no, 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 no. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean at all. No. No,
Okay, but
yeah.
talking about tangents, how did husbandry get to be the name for that?
You know, I'm sure a man came up with it. Not as a hit to you men out there, because we know that many of you are enlightened, highly spiritual beings. This has not always been the case. So, and certainly back in the day, you know, men, well, even still, men predominate the field of science. And they came up with the names for a lot of things. So
Okay, well, we're going to leave that for another day. That's a lot to
yeah,
unpack.
yeah.
But if you want
Talk
to
about
learn
a tangent.
English, come read the descriptions and the stories. That'll get your English in. You've got your science and your math and your history lesson here.
Um,
And your magical too, obviously. There should be an elective in schools for magic and how to
completely
use
agree.
crystals and gemstones. That should be an elective. So
Absolutely.
obviously
Oh my
we've got a
gosh,
lot
yes.
that we need to help the world with and get out there, get to teaching this stuff.
For sure, for sure.
Okay, well, our work here is done. We're going to wish everyone a good day and go to lavishgoods.com. Sign up for our free newsletter. We'll get discount codes. You find out about new offerings. We give free gifts sometimes to our newsletter people with purchase. So check it out. Lavishgoods.com. Say bye, Nikki.
Bye, Nikki.